Hello, hello, hello. My name is Audrey Hamilton. I am the entrepreneurial assistant. I am a virtual assistant, inspiration coach, and a social media manager. And tonight we are back to having my Q&As. And tonight we have Gina Stockdall with us. So Gina, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, what your interests are, what kind of your dislikes are, and stuff?
Sure. Bios are not really my thing, but
I
um,
do it.
I'm a really talkative person until you have to talk about yourself sometimes. But so like she said, my name is Gina Stockdall. So I am a Christian mom of two boys named Griffin and Benjamin. Um, I've been married for 6 years. We are both leaders in the church. My husband plays guitar for the church, so like we're super involved in that.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, love cooking and baking. I like to read a lot. Um, Art is a huge passion of mine, hence why I kind of got into graphic design in the first place. And honestly, just kind of hanging out with the kids. It's
So how old are your kids?
They are 5 and 2.
Ooh, they're close to my kids' age. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, they're
So your
little.
your 2-year-old like goes in between those ages, but
Hmm.
that's awesome. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. So I own Maryland Jean Designs, and we started in 2021. We originally started as kind of a full branding company, but we have kind of morphed since then. We now do, branding, marketing, social media management. We do marketing strategy, consulting. Like we specifically serve like nonprofits and churches. We do serve small businesses as well. We're just a little bit more picky on which small businesses we take in since they're not quite in our niche.
Hmm.
Um, but we pretty much help nonprofits and churches get more visibility on their mission.
That's really cool. How long have you been doing it again?
So we've been doing it almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years next month.
That's awesome. That
Hmm.
is very awesome. Let me pull my questions back up. Sorry, I am
Oh, you're
handling a lot of back end stuff, and I have not gotten quite everything that I expected to have done.
okay. There's
But
only one
we're
person.
we're
It's
doing
okay.
this.
It's all good.
So, do you want to tell us how you kind of got started with this?
Sure. So I have kind of like a really weird long story. Um,
Do it. Tell us the whole thing.
so I actually started graphic design back in 2009 when I was still in high school. That's showing my age a little bit, but so I actually took the class that was offered. I graduated in 2010, so it was 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
That's you're
Uh,
not old. You're not old at all. Don't
no,
don't
I'm
say
not.
that. Most of the entrepreneurs in this group are about your age.
I'm not. I don't feel old until I talk to my 21-year-old brother, and then I'm just like, oh. But
Oh, don't worry about it. You're not old at all. Now, here's
but
the thing. Here's the thing. Most of the people in this group are about 30s to their 40s. Now, I'm the
mhm.
opposite. I'm 22.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yours.
I'm like way young. I'm like, ah, okay. So no, but
Yeah,
no one
yours.
said
I saw your post the other day, and I was like, oh, she's the same age as my sister.
that.
you know.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, my sister, my brother, they're in their early 20s, and then I'm in my early 30s.
No, that's fine.
But 2009, I was accepted into the program, the CTC program at the local college,
Hmm.
and so I did that for 2 years and got my certificate. But then I went on to college and couldn't figure out what I actually wanted to do because I was 18, and
Yeah.
yeah, I went from being a graphic design major to a business major to a social work major to a biochem major to failing out to then going back and getting my associates and not doing anything with that until I got pregnant with Griffin. Um, and so whenever I got pregnant with Griffin, which is my 5 year old, I hated the job I was working at the time, like loathed it.
Mm.
And that's when I decided that I needed to do something better because like why should my child watch me go to a job I hate every single day?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. And so I went back and I got my full graphic design degree, graduated in 2021, started my business in 2021. I decided to freelance because I kept trying to apply to like remote graphic design jobs because it's a really popular thing now, especially since 2020. Um, But I kept getting turned down because I didn't have enough experience. So how
Mhm.
am I supposed to get experience if no one's willing to hire me?
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm like, fine, I will just do it myself. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. And here we are 2 years later. We now have a staff of 3. That's including myself. I have 2 other people on staff, but we are looking to hire 2 more. So it'll be a total of 5 by the end of March.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And it's good to do for that expansion. I understand what you're saying about people not wanting to hire you,
Mm-hmm.
even though you have the experience in to do stuff. You've been in graphic design. If you went to college, went through it for 4 years for
Right.
graphic design, and yet that does not count towards actual work experience.
Yeah, because whenever you're building your portfolio when you're a designer, you're not supposed to put classwork in, right? So I'm like, I don't even know what to put in
Right.
here. Yeah, and God is good though. He has provided over the years, and He's been really opening a lot of doors lately. But like, there for a while, I'm just like, what am I even doing? you
Yeah.
know, like I have no idea.
But yeah, I understand.
So,
God is good. He does open doors,
mhm,
and it sounds like He opened up a great door for you that you enjoy, and
mhm.
that's wonderful. If we don't do what we love, then we need to be looking and for something else that we do love,
So
and
that's
God will open doors for that.
absolutely like, I never really thought of not doing it specifically for like nonprofits and churches. Um,
Mhm.
However, there for a while, probably a good 6 months, the Holy Spirit was like, hello, hello, hello. And I'm like, fine. And then it's interesting how once you actually listen, how everything just feels so much better, you
Yeah,
know? But yeah.
exactly. So, with what you do, what is the difference between what you do? Because you also, like said, you do social media managing
Mhm.
of some sort. So, do you want to kind of explain the difference between a social media manager and a virtual assistant?
Sure. So virtual assistants all in themselves have honestly evolved even since I've started freelancing. Like they do amazing job at pretty much everything. The difference would be and I can't speak for all VAs, but for the general, consensus, um, we actually have a marketing director on staff. And so therefore, she has her master's in marketing. And so we actually come up with the full marketing strategy ourselves. We know, like we pay attention to your ROI. We pay attention to conversion rates. We pay attention to, um, like what all the insights are. We will tell you what needs to be changed, what needs to do, like, we do it all. A lot of virtual assistants I know do manage social media, but it's not all. I'm going to reiterate, like not all virtual assistants, but a lot of virtual assistants don't understand what a marketing strategy is.
Yeah.
Um, Virtual assistants will put up amazing work, but it's not getting the engagement or the insights that the client is actually looking for. So we actually kind of utilize our virtual assistant in the way of like she's the one that kind of helps us with the scheduling portion and the engagement portion, and she kind of helps with that. While I focus more on the branding being on point and making sure that the graphics are good. And Alex focuses on making sure that your strategy is actually getting you the results that you want.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I think the difference between like our business versus just hiring a VA is the fact that you have a VA plus 2 professionals. Like you have a full team on you,
Yeah,
you know?
that is really cool.
Yeah. Not to knock VAs at all. They do great jobs. But I have one.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have her, I would probably lose my mind. But, that's a big reason why we also added the marketing consulting though, because we also understand that by having a team that we're out of people's price points at times. And so the
Yeah.
consulting, we can talk with either yourself or your VA or both to kind of get your marketing more on track.
Very, very cool. I like that. And not a lot of people do that kind of stuff, that not for nonprofits and church leaders, especially. So, do
Yeah.
you kind of want to explain a little bit in there too?
Mhm.
Let me make a point real quick for
Sure.
everyone. If anyone has any questions, please feel to drop them in the comments. I am monitoring the comments also. I am not able to comment through StreamYard, but I can definitely see your guys' comments. So we will be able to answer any questions you guys may have. So let us know. And back to my previous question. So what is like the how does working with the nonprofits and church leaders kind of do for your business? Like, do you
Um,
want to share a little bit of your experience with that?
yeah. And so, as I said previously, like I'm a church leader myself, and so, and my husband and I actually met at church. Like, if that doesn't tell you, like how often that, like we're there, we live there outside of our home.
There you
Um,
go.
but my thing is like I kind of started steering that way for the mere fact of like I work as an admin assistant for a nonprofit, and a couple hours a week, and then I'm in church leadership, and so I'm like I kind of know how they tick more than small businesses, if that makes sense. Like I have no formal business training. None.
Yeah.
All business training that I have is from falling flat on my face and learning from it. Um, so I think what really helps me is like, we're all have the goal of creating a better world. We all have the same goal of just, you know, being advocates for people that have no voice. I think what really kind of helps motivate me is that like we're glorifying God in our work on a daily basis. We're not just like doing a mundane job every single day. What I really kind of enjoy is just hearing. I love listening to people talk about their mission because the passion that they have behind it is honestly astounding. And listening to people's like why and helping them with their why. I can go to bed and actually know that I was a productive individual that day.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoy how laid back they are too. I have found, I've worked with several businesses over my 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I have found that working with nonprofits and church leaders for myself, that they are way more laid back and laxed than small business leaders. And to be completely honest, that has taught me how to be a better leader with my people. Because I'm like, if I ever do this, or this, please let me know, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, so I think it's not only that we help them, but they teach me a lot, which is really, really nice.
Yeah. I love it when that happens, when you're able to learn more from who you work with. And I get it about that kind of stuff. I don't work with nonprofits and I don't work with church leaders, but some small business owners can be pretty intense.
Some of us, and then, and I understand why we are that way. Like this is
Yeah.
how we make our money. Like you can't mess with our babies, right?
Hmm.
Like
Exactly.
my business is my third baby, period. But at the same time, like working with such tender-hearted people
Yeah.
has taught me how to be like still stern. I still have my boundaries and my rules and my policies that my contractors have, like they know what is expected of them, but at the same time, like I'm not as much of a perfectionist anymore,
That's good.
you know.
That is good and something I need to learn more of.
Girl, we all learn every day. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Exactly. I agree. I do agree. I remember my great grandpa, who was 89, was like, you learn something every single day.
You really do.
Yeah.
Whether it's from your business, your children, those around you, some person in line at Walmart,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
learn something every single day.
Yes, you do. You do. So, do you want to kind of give some like marketing kind of tips for anyone or some social media on like how to run your social media smoother or
Okay.
anything?
Yeah. So we have kind of created a system where you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on your marketing, like social media, like marketing. I don't know how I want to say it. So like our process, that's what I'm looking for. Our process is, you do one step like per week, basically. So we like for like my business's social media example, we like to do one step per week so that way we're staying at least a month ahead on posts being scheduled out. And so that way, if like somebody gets sick or if somebody's kid gets sick, because all of us are moms on my team, um, we have a buffer, right? So that would be my first suggestion is make sure that like when you're sitting down and you're scheduling it out, it's tedious at first, right? Get a VA to help you if you don't have the time kind of thing. But put your first month out. So that way when you're doing the steps, you're kind of 6 weeks ahead. So that way you have a buffer for whatever reason and your social media is still staying consistent. Next thing is you do not have to post every single day. Surprisingly enough, like we do, but that's just my professional, like my ADD. But like you don't have to. Pick 2 or 3 days and stick with that until you can get to where you're posting every day. But don't feel like you have to post every single day starting out. That is overwhelming, especially if you don't have a team to help you with it. Surprisingly enough, especially for Instagram, because that is where I play the most, Wednesdays and Tuesdays are the best days to post. Wednesdays specifically are the #1 day that users use Instagram. It's like they hit hump day and they just are over their work and they're on Instagram the rest of the week. So if you're going to do a reel or a video of some sort, I would post it on a Wednesday, would be my second tip.
Writing it down because I don't use Instagram.
Yeah,
I have gotten a lot of spams, like 80% of it's spams, and I hate it for that reason. But I know I need to expand into Instagram.
Yes. So we primarily, my team, when I say we, I mean my team, just so everybody's on the same page. But we primarily use like Facebook and Instagram currently, and we're going through courses and stuff to kind of get more into Twitter and LinkedIn, just to offer broader services. But I play on Instagram the most at this point. And right now I get most of my clients from Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay.
And so, but you know, my suggestion would also be like, if you're not comfortable with video, I feel you. Like I can talk like this all day long, but the moment you start recording me on like a video and it's just me, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right. So, but if you could get out like one 30-second one per month, you know, to start with until you're comfy, I would definitely do that because reels are in at the moment. And statistically speaking, people no longer want to read. They want to view. And
it's really sad.
It is.
I'm a reader. I love to read. I like to write and videos. And I'm like, I don't like videos.
Yeah, I know. But our society, unfortunately, has turned to where people want to scroll through videos than actually read your caption. Yeah. And so, you know, I guess my third tip would be try to at least get one video a month starting out. And then go up to from there to where you're posting one video a week. You can do more than that, but that's, you know, the goal, you know.
Yeah.
I think the next most major deal would be, while graphics are great and have a purpose, obviously that is my whole job, but show your face more, whether it's in the graphic or just a picture of you. Eventually start showing your face in the videos, you know, those types of things. Show your face more. People are sold to all day, every day, especially since like 2020 when we all stayed home. People have realized that they can work from home. Great. But now you're seeing how many ads in your Facebook newsfeed.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you actually pay attention to those? I mean, you know, and so people are going to end up stopping and saying like, oh, what is she up to? You know, kind of put your life into the marketing. Storytelling is huge. A big thing is like, you know, my business's name is Marilyn Jean Designs. That has nothing to do with my name at all. And people constantly ask me why. A, I love it because it gets me, you know, engagement that way. But B, you know, it's named after my grandmother who has passed away. And one thing, like whenever you're starting a business, is you want a name that no one else has. And so my name is Gina Stockdall. And then here in Kansas City, there's a Gina Stockdale. So change that L to an E at the end. That is an interior designer. That was way too close. So we brainstormed for like 3 months on that. But, you know, I just did a reel today explaining the reasoning behind the name. And it has me at the beginning now, but then it has a picture of my grandmother and I when I was like 5. And those things hit so easily to where like people start following you. We got like 7 follows just from that reel because people want to see more of that. And then now they're going to actually see my promo stuff too.
Yeah.
So show yourself more, show your team more if you have one. Once you start getting comfy, start sharing your why. Why did you start your business? What makes you passionate? Why should they pick you? Would be another one. Like what makes you different?
Yeah.
Just those types of things. Another psychology one. This would be my last tip. So if you're going to do a Facebook ad, for whatever reason, you will do 25% better if you have the color red in it somewhere and your face. People love to see faces, and for whatever reason, people love the color red.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I had a color coach come in on one of my Q&As, and she said red was like a bold, confident color.
Yeah.
So
It catches your attention.
that's partly the reason why I decided to wear a red dress for my 22nd birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh, yeah. It catches your attention super quickly. That's a big reason why, like in my branding, we have black and pink. We did that because those are my favorite colors. It's my favorite color combo forever. So for those who do know me, automatically know when they see those colors that it's mine. But B, like pink is the more feminine side of red, but we did like a hot pink, so it is in your face all day long.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, use colors that are going to grab attention, but you do have to pay attention to what that color makes people feel.
Yeah.
You don't want to put blue if you're trying to energize somebody up.
Yeah.
That's just my spiel.
Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. So what is you just said that Instagram's right now your favorite platform.
It is
So what
my
is
platform.
so what is your impossible goal for your business?
Oh my goodness.
I put everyone on the spot with this question.
Yeah, girl, I tell you, so we're gonna be homeschooling in the fall.
Oh.
And so we found a co-op here in Kansas City where the boys are gonna go twice a week. And so, it makes me feel like it's impossible to run my business, grow my business, and homeschool. It's not though. It's just you got to figure out a way to do it and have a supportive team. But I feel like that's kind of like the impossible thing right now. Kind of looking into it. I don't have a full plan yet. Like we're in that process of creating a plan. And so, my impossible task right now is get my team and train them, get everything to where we're still growing, even though I'm going to be more focused on homeschooling the kids during the week.
Yeah. It will go well.
It will.
Once you train your team to do what you need it to do while you're gone, and then if you can work on it in the evenings after your kids are done, or even when your son is starting school is going to kind of be the easier time. I was homeschooled all my life.
Okay.
And it was only like, it took, when I first started, it only took about an hour to 2 hours for all my homework and schoolwork and stuff. And that's all my mom did with me for a while. And then, of course, as time grew on, of course, it went longer and longer.
Well, yeah.
And stuff. But, I mean, you still have some time, and it's not like going to be suddenly all day you're going to be having to teach him school or anything. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that. Now, it depends on what you're wanting to teach him in that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we found this co-op, so they'll go twice a week, 6 hours per day, where they kind of go over the stuff. Like we do the homework on the other 3 days of the week. And I'm like, okay, cool. So those will, at least those times will be the times I have like my calling list available, like for my calendar, because I won't have my kids. So I can actually focus on what I'm doing. But that's probably gonna be the only days I'm gonna do video calls.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm trying to figure out my schedule now so we can get it into a groove before we start.
And there you go. And that's what you got to do. I know it as a mom. You have to get your schedule in place as best as you can.
Yes.
So, I do not do any video calls or any kind of calls really until after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
Which is about now.
Yeah.
I
do calls during the day, but I put at the bottom of my email, I'm like, listen, I got a 5 and a 2-year-old. If you don't like it, then I'm not the designer for you. Sorry, not sorry. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say that, verbatim, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, I mean, my kids are home. I don't know what to tell you guys. And some of the small business owners that I work with aren't available at night. And so I'm like, that if this is your only time that you're available, like I will talk to you,
Yep.
but you're gonna deal with my kids.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
Yep. So is there anything else you would like to add?
I don't know. I
You know.
guess for me, when it comes to like other entrepreneurs, if you like one thing I've been struggling with the past couple months is like, should I keep going? What am I not like? What am I doing? I have no like direction. I just sit down, just take some time and don't worry about growth for a little bit, right? Sit down and be like, and really think about where do you want to be in 6 months? Okay, where do you want to be in 3 months? Can you break that down into monthly increments and then start planning your stuff out that way? And that goes with your social media, right? Where like whenever it comes to like let's use followers because that's the easiest insight to kind of follow. Let's say if you're looking at your Instagram and you currently have like 50 followers, like there's barely any. But you want to have 500 by the end of the 6 months. How are you going to do that? Physically write it out, right?
Yep.
Put it on a wall somewhere. I'm a very visual person. And just kind of do it that route. One thing that really helps me as far as like spreadsheets when it comes to content creation. So you can put like, what date is this one supposed to be done? Here's the caption, here's whatever hashtags we're using, if we're using any, those types of things. And you can just copy and paste and it takes way less time to actually schedule it all out. And then rotate your content. So that way you're just kind of going back until you can get a full marketing strategy done. I would say get 90 good posts. So every 90 days you're kind of like rotating out. And then eventually those 90 posts will become fillers because you're going to be growing and having more things to post about.
Yeah.
But that's like a really good way that we got started was, like the first week you focus on, okay, what are we going to post? So you create your content calendar. Second week, you do your graphics and or videos, whatever it is that you're going to be posting. Third week of the month, you focus on getting your captions and your hashtags written out. And then that last week, like right before the new month, you just schedule it all out. And then, that way you're not sitting down and having to do it all at one setting. Cause like I'm a social media manager and marketing, expert at this point, and I still don't like to sit down and do it all in one setting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I like to break it up like that. It works well for our team.
I will have to try that because I'm currently kind of struggling with that.
Oh, it took us.
I love post creation. I love helping manage social media and stuff like that. But then I'm looking at the posts. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I make all the graphics and I work on the copy, add the hashtags, and schedule everything out on almost one sitting. And I'm like, okay, there has to be a better way of doing this.
Like my thing is like I got into social media management because someone asked if we offered it, and at the time I'm like, no. And I'm like, is there really a need for it? Little did I know. And so I love writing out the copy. I'm weird. I love doing tedious stuff like that. So like this is really perfect for my brain. But like to sit down and do it all at once is really overwhelming. Especially when you have, like you and I, we have multiple accounts to do it.
Yeah.
And so eventually it's taken us months. But so my point being too is like I'm looking at the comments, how often to post in a day. That really does depend on your platform. However, I really suggest once a day because once you start posting multiple times a day, unless it's like a very rare deal, like, oh my gosh, this happened today, you have to post about it, right? The algorithm for at least Facebook and Instagram will start kind of, they kind of push you out. And so I would say once a day. We only post once a day unless something huge just randomly happens. And then as far as like what time of the day, there's 2 major times that you can post. Really early in the morning, so people are like looking at it when they're first getting up, because we all do that now. Or kind of like mid-afternoon, like early evening. So then people are looking at it whenever they're getting home from work. So like we post all of our stuff, usually like 6 in the morning and or like 3 in the afternoon. So that way it's kind of being pushed into their feeds at the 2 times of the day that it's most busy. So
Sounds good.
yeah.
Very
But yeah. Oh, what I was saying before I saw her comment. We have gotten to where all of our clients are the same deal. So like this week we're focusing on content calendars for everybody. This week we're focusing on graphics for everybody. Kind of just get that rotation in. So that way, like what's expected of you, they know what's expected of them, so on and so forth. And again, you're not overwhelming yourself because you're going to get burnt out really fast.
Very fast. Very, very, very fast.
Fail you.
Yeah. Very cool. Is there anything else?
I think that's it for me, unless you guys have questions.
Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone watching?
I'm gonna plug my computer in just real quick because it just popped up that my battery's gonna die. So
No problem. Do it.
I'm right here. Don't mind me. You guys can look at the pretty painting that my husband made back there.
It is pretty. Any questions? Okay, they
Jewelry.
sell jewelry.
Okay, so one thing that I would do with that too is obviously you're gonna post pictures of your product, but then like you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to start showing more of your own face if you're not already, and then videos with jewelry. Like you can show, like a video of like this would go great with like this shirt, and the next frame this will go with this with like show what it will look good with, because people see jewelry ads all day long. Like let's be honest. But people don't see your face all day long. They don't see what you have all day long. So you have to kind of figure out what's going to make you a little bit different. And it's kind of like,
how many times would you suggest going live and showing off the jewelry?
I would say probably once a week if you're comfy. If you're not, going live for me, I used to sell makeup. And so going live and doing my makeup was horrifying for me at first. And so the best way, honestly, though, they blew up my business when I did that was going live. I went live every single day doing my makeup every day. Jewelry is a little bit different. Like you're not going to go live and just put on your makeup or you put your jewelry on every day. I would say probably about once a week and show it off. Maybe do specific themes. Like this week we're going only silver. This week we're doing only gold. That way you're kind of getting people's attention. And then there's people like me who like loves turquoise, those types of things.
Yeah.
Hype it up.
Also another thing, I sold jewelry too. You can also do some things in the video sharing different ways on how to wear the jewelry. Like for some longer necklaces, you can do different things with it, like different knots in a way, but not like bad knots that stay there forever and stuff. But
yes, I know what you mean. So like, they said, so not every day. So my thing with that is you can go live every day, but I would switch up the topics. I would not do a selling live every single day. So you can do like an inventory. Let's say like you do an inventory on Monday, right? Like silver inventory on Monday. Then do like what Audrey said is the next day, like how to wear. Like how to stuff is going to get you so many followers, guys, because people want to learn. And then if you tell stories too, so like do like these ones are like my favorite pieces Wednesday, but then go into detail as to why they're your favorite pieces, not just because they're pretty. Okay, like if the for example, like this is my wedding ring, right? This is actually my mom's. And so now I used to hate pearls, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like nuts. But now because like I have like this sentimental deal, anything that has kind of pearls, I'm like, oh, this is gonna match my wedding ring and it's gonna remind me of my mom, and like all these things. Like tell them why like you like it. Does turquoise remind you of your grandmother? Why does it remind you of her? Start telling your story as much as possible, because that is where people are going to start getting hooked. Period. It doesn't matter what you sell. Like one thing that got people to start really getting in on like my makeup videos. Also, if you have like pets or children, I know this is terrible. include them every once in a while.
I
Right?
know. It's so
So,
sad. I mean, I understand, but I'm also like, sometimes my kids will get more likes and more comments on their own posts than I do any other post. I'm like,
girl.
what?
Yeah. So so when I first started selling makeup, Griffin was like 6 weeks old, right? And so then people wanted to get on the lives to watch the baby. And then eventually people got hooked on like my personality and they would watch on like on a regular basis. But yeah, use the cute stuff in your life to get it. Especially if you have a cat. Statistically speaking, if cat videos get more views than anything else. Why? Because they naturally boost your serotonin. Whether we like it or not, we are attracted to Kit Kats. Why? I have no idea. Like, I have one. I have no idea.
Cats are so cute. They're so fluffy.
I have no idea where she is, but we use her in my marketing now because we do some printing stuff here in house, right? And whenever the printer is going, she sits on top of it and watches it. So I call her my quality control cat.
There you go.
Yeah, get something.
My kids are my assistants.
Yes,
especially Summer.
Yes, when they're home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, get something cute, involve the people and or pets that are closest to you. Because again, people want to know you, right? You have a 3-year-old. Awesome. So you could even do like a video of like my 3-year-old's favorites, like have them pick, 5 to 10 pieces or something of what they like, or have them help show it off or whatever. And I'm not saying to do that all the time, right? Unless you absolutely want to. Some people aren't comfortable putting their kids on social media, and I respect that. But, people, you have to remember that people are sold to all day long, especially like on network marketing stuff. And I mean, that's how I made my money for a long time. You just have to figure out how to stand out against those, like the other network marketers.
Yeah.
Big way to do that is to show who you are as a person. Would just be my big suggestion.
That's a good thing.
Don't bombard them. Here's the thing too, like especially if you're selling from your Facebook, like your personal Facebook, you want 80% of that content to be about your family, who you are as a person, and your likes, dislikes doesn't matter. 80% your personal stuff, 20% business.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be bombarding these poor people. Like, I even have to do that, right? Like, I can't have over 20% of my own business stuff because people are going to stop caring.
Yeah. But I've also found, don't be afraid to do your business, like your cover photos can be business. Having a pinned post that talks about your business story. Yep. And then when you're doing your posting, 80% business or 80% personal, 20% business. And the same opposite for if you have a business page, yes, then it needs to be 80% business. Only about 20% of that needs to be promotional. Yes. In my opinion. And then the 20% is personal stuff that you like, motivational, or anything like that.
You are more than welcome. I absolutely agree. So whenever if you have a business page, which I know that a lot of network marketing people are going toward that as well, I absolutely agree. Do not promote on an every single day basis. Like, that is going to make people not care.
Yep.
They really
also, same thing with groups.
Yes.
It needs to be 80% you give value, 20% promotional.
Yes.
100%. Because with any group you join too, if you put more value into your guys' groups and stuff, when you do a promotional, then you're going to get more eyeballs. It's like a whole other platform. Mm-hmm. Any other social media platform you're on, think of it like that. And you want to build your algorithm in the same group. So you can get more eyeballs on your businesses.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. All of that, what she just said. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been something that we have developed just from trying and failing at this point. Yeah. And so you're going to have to try and fail is really what it boils down to. Figure out what works for your audience, but, go with the basics. Start there and then build on it.
Yeah. So is there any more questions? Anything else you want to add, Gina?
I'm good. I think guys talked your guys' ear off for 45 minutes.
You are totally fine. This is why you are here. True. Talk our ears off and give us some good value, mm-hmm, and to get your business name out there. So anyone else?
You are very welcome. Saw that. Thank you. Comment.
Okay. Well, if anyone is ever wanting to get on these Q&As, please message me here on Facebook or go to my website and book a call with me. That way I can kind of get an idea of what your business is and we can see if we can work together for these Q&As. Again, I just started actually promoting these a bit more.
Yeah.
I'm not asking so many people to come on anymore and stuff. I've had a lot of cancellations. I actually was supposed to have one last week, but the lady canceled on me again. So let me know if you guys want to do a Q&A and we will talk about stuff and see if it's a good fit. And if anyone needs anything, please let me know. If you guys want Gina to ask Gina any questions, get to know what she wants to do, message her.
Yes, please.
Also, in the description up above is her Instagram. You guys could probably message her on Instagram.
Yes.
And anything you guys follow her too. If you guys are watching this video, follow her. She is really good at what she does. I love her stuff. I love your coffee and Jesus stuff.
Thank you.
I mean, I love coffee. There's not a much better combination.
I know. It really stemmed from just like that's how I start my mornings, and I'm just like, let's just roll with it,
Yep, exactly. But yeah, if anyone has any questions for her, let her know. If you guys want to work with her, let her know too. So yeah, if anyone needs anything, let us know. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Gina, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You all have a great night. Thank you.
Bye, guys.